So, okay, we are recording, and I have a Geek Out Friday session that this is kind of a special session because last week was messed up because of Jarvis. I think we either broke Jarvis, somebody broke Jarvis last Friday. So it doesn't happen very often, but occasionally on a webinar, that's when you're actually going to see it, is somebody breaks it. So welcome to the call. This is Geek Out Fridays. This is a special week. We're going to have another one next week, but typically we're every other Friday, and we're kind of off. We're throwing in an extra bonus one in here. So today is the encore show, and hopefully we're going to have Surfer Jarvis to Google Docs. So let's get started. And this is about content creation. This is the method that we're using to generate a lot of content that we can spin through our PBN network. And I've kind of gotten a good workflow going through here, and I want to show you what I'm doing because I've used Phrase and I've used Surfer. There are pros and cons on either one. I think Surfer may be more adapt to working with Jarvis. Phrase is trying to build their own content engine, which is, it's okay. It's not as good as Jarvis, but it has its merits. So each of the three tools. So I'm not going to talk about Phrase today. I'll save that for another Geek Out Friday, but we're going to talk about Surfer and Jarvis working together and then getting into a blog post. Okay. Now, if you're going to write for others, you're going to do copywriting, landing pages, emails, whatever you're going to do. If you're going to do it for others, get your certification. If you're a marketer, this is, they give you a training on how to do it. It's an open book test. So if I can pass it, any of y'all can pass it. But get your Jarvis certification. Get a little badge, you put it on LinkedIn. Get your Surfer certification. Now, Surfer goes into a little bit more detail than Jarvis does. Phrase has a certification. So this week, you've probably seen me post those. It's one of those things that you may need these certifications just to kind of get you above your competitor if you're writing content, you're doing any type of content marketing. Okay. With that said, let's kind of get started talking about. So what I'm going to show you today is a workflow that we're using. Now, this Word AI, it's an optional. It doesn't have to happen. In fact, if you're coming out of the content, the HTML editor of Jarvis, it may be a challenge to keep all your formatting correct in Word AI. And we've got a solution that we're going to come out with later. But primarily, I'm going to go Surfer Jarvis to Google Docs. Show you all that today. So what is Surfer? Well, Surfer is an SEO tool. It helps you write content briefs, and it does keyword research, and it does content planning. Now, in the past, I really haven't focused on content planning. I've been focused on autoblogging or writing a really good article. Well, guys, today's SEO, you've got to write really good articles multiple times, link them together, do external linking to high domain authority sites, do internal linking, get your meta set up. It's a lot more than it used to be on SEO, but you do need a content plan. And what Google is really liking these days, and their algorithms are proving it, is if you have some articles and some micro articles, and you're pointing back to your micro articles, meaning if you're talking about crypto, you may have an article about Ethereum. So you would reference that back in your big article about crypto coins, and you're referencing an article that you have written about Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever. So you have multiple articles. They're kind of covering different clusters or different search topics that they're related, but they're not directly related. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. And then you use that to create your content editor. They also have an audit tool. It's pretty good. it goes back, they have a scoring system, so they're going to relate it to other competitors' scores. So you can kind of see where your score is to help you move up in the rankings. Is this the ultimate keyword search term? It's up to you. I'd say it's probably 95% effective, but there's other ones like SEMrush, keywords everywhere. Use they may give you some keywords that you've never thought of, but the thing I like about it is it does bring up questions, and if you include the questions at the bottom of your articles, you're adding a lot of linkability, likability also with Google. Is you're answering consumer questions. So when a visitor sees your site, sees your blog, they go all the way down, they'll spend more time looking at the questions and answers. And it's just an added boost to your link authority and your domain authority. So keep that in mind as we go through this. Okay, we're going to be working, we'll start in Surfer, we'll go to Jarvis. Now I have down here Grammarly. I use Grammarly Pro. I think you can get by with the free version on either one of these. Jarvis is not a professional copywriter that's writing to do a call to action on everything, or sometimes their sentences are just garbled. Sometimes the sentences have extra commas, or they're not punctuated correctly. That's fine. That's why you got Grammarly attached to both of these. Or that's why I would recommend Grammarly. Okay. Now, once you're done with your article, then you want to put it in Google Docs and clean it up. The HTML editor in Jarvis drops some weird stuff in there. Google Docs does a pretty good job of cleaning it up. And, occasionally you'll have an H2 tag that covers a paragraph tag, and you may have to just fix it. So do your cleanup in Google Docs, use Grammarly to its fullest extent at that point, get your spelling correct, punctuation, all that. Okay. Now, inside of Google Docs, this is where I really want to add the images, charts, graphs, a call to action, a button, citations. If you're going to cite other sources and put your links in there, you can do some of that inside of Jarvis. But I'm telling you, the HTML editor is not as friendly as it is inside of Google Docs. Again, you could put it in Word also. Word works just as well. You could do your formatting, your bullet points, your numbered list, your check boxes, quotes, do all that inside of Google Docs instead of trying to do it inside the editor. Now, you go from Google Docs into your blog post, and you could go into WordPress, and you can create a master site. I mean, you could put them in Medium, anywhere where you would publish your final article. Get it ready in here, publish it in here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start a demo. Wayne is not on the call today. He had some other things. So I can't sometimes hop over to questions and answers. So I'm going to try to save the questions at the very end. Yep. So if it's something really important, I'll just I've got a second screen. I'll just kind of keep an eye on. But for the most part, I'm going to save the questions for the very end, because I really want to get your mind wrapped around the workflow process of the tools. Okay. Now, here is the additional option is once you have it in a blog post, don't go immediately and drop it into Surfer and do an audit. You need Google to see it. Wait a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, even a month or longer, and then pull the article over after you've built some backlinks to it, booster pages or Yav rank or whatever. You've indexed it, you've pinged it, you've done all the basic stuff. You've got it in an RSS feed. And so now you're socially syndicating that content before you go out and do your audit, because the audit's going to tell you, build backlinks. That's the first thing that's going to affect your score is your backlinking. So do that first, is let it season a little bit before you do the audit. Okay, and I'm not going to do questions right now, but let's hop over and do the demo. Okay, I am going to launch in Surfer. Now, last week we kind of did some content planning. So I'm going to start out with, let's start out with keyword research, probably the best way. We did RSS feed blogging, how to auto blog, and a word came up last week is I've got a laptop. I'm trying to do some pin casting. So I figured out the word. It's called pin casting, and it's really doing an electronic tablet or iPad or something and using that on your screencast. So I added the keyword, came down here and create keyword research. No results found. Okay, let's try pin casting. See if that's. Let's go back over here to keyword research and just tap that in. Now, it doesn't look like it's going to work for me. Okay. Let's type in content marketing. Let's go back over here to keyword research. Their keyword research is not, they do internal tracking. I think they use SEMrush or one of the, but we're going to do content marketing. We're going to try to rank on content marketing. Okay. So what is content marketing? So it's giving you a SERP similarity. So it's taking some keywords, it's looking, comparing it to your competition, looking at the search volume over here. So a lot of people are, what is marketing? What is content marketing? They're asking the question about it. So those are more informational words. They're not transactional words. Okay. So I'm going to do content marketing. And what is good content marketing? What is, I'm going to use that, put that in my clipboard. And articles, let's see, what is marketing content? So those two, I'm going to save over here. Just copy those. And now let's go to the content planner. So if I'm going to rank for content marketing, here's what I want to do. I want to put in content marketing right here. Okay. Create content planner. Now this takes a little bit of time to go through, but it's going to build clusters, and the clusters are really going to give me the title or a similar title that I'm going to use to create a content brief that I'm going to take over to Surfer. So again, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to rank for not just the word content marketing, but for all the associated pages that I'm going to build out to rank content marketing. Again, it's a little bit more work than we used to do. One page, page one of ranking, you're going to have to do multiple pages to support your keyword, your major keywords. Okay, while that's working, I'm just going to come over here and show you some other ones that we've done. So as a for instance, is fence repair. I've got a contractor in McKinney that I'm working with, and this has 64 clusters. So what they're saying is, as of January 14th for a desktop, is I'm looking for I'm looking to build at least 64 pages or blog posts about fence repair. So this kind of gives me something I can go quote the contractor and say, hey, listen, we can dominate McKinney and North Dallas if we've got a lot of content about fence repair, staining fence, wood gate repair, but these are the articles I'm going to write on. So this is the monthly search volume. and that's the keyword difficulty. Closer to 10, the harder it is. This is informational. This is shopping. Shopping means they know they're about to buy something or they're about to spend money. So these are good keywords to put in there. Something about staining fence cost. This is more research, more informational. So you want to mix informational with shopping. And then there are some in here that are transactional, meaning they've already got their credit card out. They're just deciding where to put the numbers. And I don't see any right now, but occasionally you'll see this is local. So fence repair, Austin, Texas. Now you would want to put maybe, this has 12 more keywords in there. Austin. I would probably want to change it to Dallas or McKinney. Fence repair, Oklahoma. So this kind of will help you get into the local rankings as well. So you can see there's a lot of content in here. Okay, let's go back up and look, see if our content marketing, okay, it looks like it's done. Okay, 89 clusters. What that's telling me is this is going to be a competitive keyword, but if I do these articles, put them all in a single website, I can build the domain authority. I can build a lot of links back into these pages, and I'll start ranking that website. So how do you take this and go and make a content brief to go to Jarvis? Well, they give you these little buttons down here that will create a content brief. Now, this is SEO. It's got 5 more keywords it's going to put into the content brief. So here's the monthly search volume, the total traffic, difficulty. Okay, let's find one with, yeah, that one's probably a good one to start with. Or a guide to content marketing. This is probably the better one. Lower keyword, search volume's a lot lower. Good one to start with. Basic content, getting started. So this is a how-to guide. So I'm going to hit create content brief with it. Now it's going to take all these keywords and it's going to go over to the content brief section, the content editor, and it's going to put them in there and pull articles. It's going to look at the SERPs and bring in your competitors, bring in their H1s, their H2s, and H3 tags, and we're going to build an outline brief that we can take into Jarvis. Is everybody with me there? I've got a little break while it's doing. Just so I know, give me a 1 if you are using if you've got the Surfer Jarvis combination. Okay, got a few 1s coming up. Give me a 2 if all you have is just Jarvis. Okay, got a couple of those. Okay, now what I'm going to show you on creating an outline of content brief can be done inside of Phrase. Yep, Sylvie says Surfer Phrase page rewriter. Excellent. If you've got, I know page rewriter, I think that's the Michael Martin's deal. He's kind of, here's the pattern, as I've noticed, is whatever Surfer comes out with, Phrase comes out with it. Whatever Phrase comes out with, page rewriter comes out with. So their competition, somehow they come up with the same great ideas within a few weeks of each other. So I've seen it go backwards also, where page rewriter had a great idea and I'd see Phrase picked up on that great idea. So it's good. You can use all these tools together. Okay. So it's created, it's done its thing. I'm going to come over to the content editor. Go ahead and open that. Now, I have not linked it in with Jarvis yet. So you can become a certified expert. Okay. Now, it's giving me a 3 score. I want to get it over here in the green section. Now, when you're building this content brief. What I would suggest is that you build it inside of Surfer and then copy everything over to your new document inside of Jarvis. The reason is this HTML editor is a little bit easier to see content and move it around. I've noticed sometimes it's clunky, if that's the right word, inside of Jarvis. To build you can do the same thing I'm doing right now to build your outline inside of Jarvis. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to build a really good outline, and then we're going to take it to Jarvis. That's the preferred method that I like using. I've tried both. When I say clunky, sometimes the thing crashed, sometimes it didn't show all the outline that all the H2s that I got on here. Okay, so we're starting with a blank page. It's used the keywords to find competitors and the SERPs. I'm going to come up here and show you. It kind of blinked a little bit, so I know I need to come in here and just review this. Now, this is the domain authority. Out of 10, this has a 9 out of 10. Here's the content score, the ultimate guide to content marketing. So they've checked that off. They're going to use that to pull content from, okay? This one is a 43, domain authority is 8. They jumped out of that. Search Engine Journal, they probably got some good stuff in there. I can add it just simply by adding it in there. This is a good one, 70, 9, and 47. May not need that one. This is a good one, 83, 9. So I can kind of see where my competitors are going to be. I need to be in this range right here, okay, for this article. And I'll load up some more competitors. Now, the difference between Surfer, and I'm going to compare and contrast, Surfer, Phrase, and Page Rewriter. Phrase and Page Rewriter is grabbing the top 20. I think Phrase grabs the top 20. I know Page Rewriter grabs the top 20, irregardless. Now, they're not going to grab ads, but they could grab a Pinterest. They could grab, and those are, you don't need Pinterest to pull article content. You don't need Twitter to pull article content. So these are looking for legitimate domain reference resources. Here is one from HubSpot, December 8th, 61. It's got I'm going to go ahead and add that one in there. It looks like it's 10 items. So I'm just kind of quickly scanning through here, and that's about all I need in there. Now, you drop into your content structure. They're recommending that you have a 6,000 word article. And these are words that you need to have in the article. Now, this is going to take you a little bit of time to do this. So I'm going to reduce it down, and it's kind of all linked together. So I need at least 48 headings. I need to be in this range, get a checkbox inside of Jarvis and inside of Surfer. I need at least 231 paragraphs. I need at least 30 images. Now, guys, I'm not going to sit here and show you how to write a 6,000 word article because we'll be here till 3 o'clock. I don't have enough energy right now to go till 3 o'clock. So let's do this. Let's pretend like I'm going to take this and make it a 1,800 word. Okay. So it said for 1,800 words, because they're all linked together, I need at least 14 headings, 69 paragraphs, and 9 images. Okay, that's something I can do in about 30 minutes with Jarvis and have a pretty good article. Terms to use. Right now, I've selected, it recommends that we have 330 of these terms in the article. So that's going to be kind of hard to do with 1,800 words. This is more keyword stuffing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, deselect all the terms, and I'm just going to select a few of these terms that we need to include. And there we go. Okay. So those are the terms that I want to include in there. And you can mark terms as headings. So I'm just going to go, let's go. Okay. So now the content structure is set up the way that I want to do it. Here's the clusters that they built. And they've knocked it down to NLPs. I need 76. I need, they're suggesting 5 headings. Okay. So here's the headings I can start with. Guide to content marketing. Let's see, content marketing efforts. And I'm going to go ahead and use this one. Guide to content marketing, just getting some examples. Okay. So let's go to outline. Let's start building. Content marketing made simple, a step-by-step, ultimate beginner's guide to content marketing. I really like this. So I'm going to use this as my H1. Okay. And I'm just going to change it just a little bit. The ultimate beginner's guide to content marketing. Okay, this is probably too long an article, but I'm going to, from an auto blogger's point of view, 2022, put your date in there. This really helps out in ranking. If people see it's fresh content, you can always go back and change it to 2023 next year. And I'm going to delete all that. So I've got a good content to start with. And I'm going to go in here and outline. And let's see. And when you're ready to mark it's done, just go ahead and mark that. You can share it because I haven't taken it into Jarvis. The share capabilities right now is I can share it here or I can create a Google document with it. But once you connect Jarvis to this particular project, you can't, it doesn't give you that Google Doc share anymore. It just gives you the straight direct link. Okay, so we got a good title to start with. I'm going to come in here to headings and let's talk about the history of content marketing. Great one to start with. And maybe looks like they're talking about the decision stages in here. And you can look at your subheadings in there. So subheadings will give you an H3 to put with it, wrapping it up. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to build some paragraphs. So the history, let's get an overview. Saw that in here. Maybe even definition, consideration stage. Okay, this is a good one. What's the difference between paid advertising and content mapping based on the customer journey? That's what we just got through talking about. It's content planning. And why is it important? And here's some offline topics. Let's show some subheadings. Okay, from soap opera, comic books. Those look like some interesting articles to put in there. Okay. And okay, and we'll put in let's do types. Okay. I'm going to put in types. So we'll start talking about the types of them: podcasts, paid advertising, infographics, video, blogs, and social media marketing. This is a pretty good article guide to answer questions or to guide a user on what they need to do. Now, typically what you would want to do is what I would do in my writing is frequently asked questions about content marketing. Frequently questions. Marketing strategy. Now it's going to do auto suggest. Inside of Surfer, you can do auto suggest inside of Jarvis. I've seen it work. I've seen it not work. So that's why I kind of like to start here first. Okay. And let's make that cap. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to make it into a heading 2. Now, if you notice, I haven't focused on any of the keywords yet. I'm just building my outline, and I'm building it in a way that I know this is going to be informational, but I want informational content. I kind of want to walk them down through development. Now, this content that it's in here, Surfer, what they do is they paraphrase what was in the competitor's description box or inside the actual paragraph. It's not word for word. Will it pass plagiarism? It will do a pretty good job of passing. Is it readable? That's the other thing. For the most part, it is, but I'm going to use Jarvis to make it readable. Okay, so we got some good stuff here. Going into questions. Wow, got a lot of questions here. So I'm going to start at the top under question. What are the 5 essential elements of content marketing? Boom. And what's an example? How do you get started? What are the 3 Ps? It's not enough content to write from it. How do you start? What is content marketing for beginners? How do I practice? How do beginners learn content writing skills? This is a good one to add in some more keywords. How to learn to be a content writer. How do I create content? Most effective ways. What are 4 guidelines? What is the golden rule of content marketing? Okay, so got some good questions. Let's go back up here and look. I'm already at 1,900 words, you know, kind of in that content guidelines that we were looking at. So let's look at the guidelines again. Okay, we got a 53 score. We want to get over here. We notice that some of our competitors, I go back over here, 69, 70, 83, 86, 61. So I want to kind of be, if this article is going to rank, I need to be kind of in this range. Now, I don't have the domain authority yet, but as I start adding more pages within the website, I'm going to build up my domain authority. Will start stacking up also. Okay. So we got a 53, and I'm looking now at, come over here, look at my NLPs. If it's in green, that means we have met what they're recommending as far as these keywords. Content marketing strategy, we use it 4 times. They only recommended 3. This content, the word content marketing, 44 times. They recommended 24 based on, it's all based on this word count. Okay, so we're looking pretty good. I need to add social media platforms. I need to add these keywords into the content. Okay, some people are going to stop right here and they're not going to go into Jarvis. Me personally, is I want to go into Jarvis and kind of tweak it up, do a little bit of improvement on it. Okay, so I'm going to copy that. Control A, highlight it all, Control C to copy it. Okay. Now I'm in Jarvis. I want to make sure I'm in the right project to start with. Get rid of bubbles here. And I'm going to put it under Mass Page Builder. This is our PBN. This is where we're going to save some documents. So documents, hit new, start from scratch. Now I'm going to paste it in here. I'm in focus mode. I'm about to go over to SEO mode, and I'm going to paste it in there. Okay. Now, I don't have it linked yet to Surfer. Okay, it's all ready to go, and I'm just going to link it. Single click, we'll link it. Okay. Now it's saying it's reading what's in Jarvis to give us the score of 53. It's not reading what we just did in Surfer. So I'm going to come back over to Surfer, and I'm just going to come up here, mark it as done. And really, I'm just going to go back to home. Okay. So I've kind of closed down Surfer on this side, and I'm working Jarvis. Okay. We're at 53. We've got to move the needle over here. How can I move it over there? We've met our headings. In fact, we have too many headings based on the word count. Our word count's right. We need to get our paragraphs up, and we need to get images in there. Okay. And we need to get all these words in there that are not green yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to show the ones that have already been optimized or partially optimized. I'm going to be focused on these words right here, what's left. I have auto suggestions highlighted, so it should auto suggest. Most of the time it works, sometimes it doesn't. Thanks to the two companies are owned by two different owners, so they have different linking sometimes. Okay. I've done that. Now I want to go to focus mode right here, because really I need to help me write, or help Jarvis write this. It needs to have a title. It needs to have a short description of what we're trying to write about. And it needs to have some type of, what type of voice do you want to put it in, and some basic keywords. Okay. And then you're ready to go back into SEO mode. So I'm going to put in here, here's the title. That's pretty easy to do. Now, I'm going to write something in here to give it a command. Write a brief introduction, because I want to put something in this box over here. So I'm going to tell Jarvis, I'm going to highlight it. Instead of hitting Control J or compose, I'm going to hit Control Enter. Okay. Now I'm going to hit Control J. I'm going to write a little bit more. Okay. This is close enough. Now, ideally, if I'm doing this for myself, I'm probably going to clear this up a little bit. How to do something new, such as, okay. So kind of clear it up a little bit with Grammarly. Come over here. I would spend a little bit of time kind of proofing this. Looks like we're right at 600 words. Let's take off maybe. Drop that. Okay. 539. I'm good to go there. Good to go there. And let's go ahead and give it a name. And it's going to pull from your title up there, suggesting that as the title to save it as. And let's make it smart. Let's let Dan Kennedy, let's let Tony Robbins help us write some of the content and informative. Okay. And you can put this in any order. You don't have to have smart in there. This is just the tone of voice I want to use. Content marketing. strategy. Okay, so we're good to go there. And I clicked off that so it actually entered it. I'm not ready to start composing, but let's do this. Take that out. And now I'm ready to start compose. I can either click it down here or fast keys or Control J, shortcut keys. Okay, take that sentence out. Now, we've got a kind of a second paragraph ready to go. And I'm going to go over here now. And we're back in the SEO mode. Okay, we're at 53 and history of content marketing. Let's highlight some of this. And I'm going to come up here and do rephrase. So this gives you some ideas of how you can rephrase that if you wanted. And again, you can write, what is it? I don't like taken aback. Let's try it one more time here. Okay. That looks okay. Now, I know that I need more paragraphs. So here's a simple way to make more paragraphs. Do a line break. And I'm reading through this. And I bet you didn't know Ben Franklin, 1732, was the first content marketer with the Poor Richard Atlas. So I'm kind of reading through this. Surfer wrote this. So I need to fix what Surfer wrote and make it legitimate. This was. And I know that's probably misspelled. I'm pretty good on this print too. Okay, so that's kind of the history of where it started. And you might want to put more content in here. So I would hit compose. Yep. John points out, and it's absolutely true, is Poor Richard's Almanac. So you want to fix things in here as you're going through it. Spell it right. Okay. Now, Jarvis did a good job. He did this by giving away content in the Atlas along with placing ads for his printing shop. This is considered content marketing. And let's finish this sentence out here. Okay. So this is a pretty good one right here. Content marketing takes many forms. So let's just make this an H2. Okay. Slowly moving this up to 56. It's looking at my paragraph count. Probably could take out some headings if I wanted, but when I start adding images, we'll be good to go. Now, I'm going to keep in mind over here these words. I want to try to incorporate this into the article as I'm writing it. And I'm using Grammarly. That's kind of helping as I'm going down through this. I notice everything else is bolded, so I'll just keep that bold. And I'll end that. Okay. Let's rewrite this sentence here, rephrase it. Okay. Now, again, Surfer is writing this content. And there's a good sentence. It's clearly. Okay. Now I'm going to start adding since content marketing's simple, high quality content and narratives. So just adding those two words bumped my score from 56 up to 61. And we're and I'm noticing digital marketing. Let's put in here digital marketing strategist. It's a strategist. New ways to expand their marketing efforts. Guys, sorry about my typing. I've got a new keyboard that's kind of split keyboard. I'm not used to it. So we're up to about 64. Now, I would typically continue to do this, inserting I'll put that back there. Okay, so I would go through this entire content doing exactly like I just did right there, making more paragraphs, making it easier to read and consume, and making it make sense. I mean, you're writing content for people to read. Quality content means they're going to read it and maybe consume it, maybe take your advice and click the buttons or click a link inside of there. This is why you write content, is to get somebody to take an action. Now, in an informative article like this, this is a great way to build up your know, like, trust factor. So you're not necessarily selling something, maybe, but you're building up what people know about you and how they trust this website because you're giving them good content. And then again, while they're in there, they may hop into other articles that you're writing. They may follow an internal link where you're talking about something specific about video marketing, let's say. Okay. So I'm going to pretend like I'm at 64. I'm going to come back up here. 64. I need to push it over to 66. So I know if I start adding, what am I missing? I'm missing images. If I just do my paragraphs, I'm going to get the score up here. Clearly fine. And I'm fixing things with Grammarly. And come up here, we'll just do a few more. Okay. So I'm at 64, a little bit of tweaking. I'm gonna, without doing a lot of rewriting on Surfer on down the page, is if I started doing that and I started working these terms into the article, that's what you want to do. You don't want to keyword stuff it, but you do want to add quality content sentences that include these terms. And as you get more and more of these terms used, the higher your score goes. And you're trying to get your everything kind of in this range. So I may have too many headings. So I could take some of the headings off, take them from being an H2 to maybe an H3. So anyway, this is a pretty good article to get started with. Now, the next step in here is I'm going to pretend like I'm at 66, and now I can start adding images. You can add images here if you want, but what I've noticed is when you take it out of here, it encodes the image in the editor. I don't want to get it encoded with a really long image or really long HTML because it's encoded images. So I'm going to go copy this. And now I'm going over to Google Docs. And misspell Google Docs all the time. Let's take that out. LE Docs. Get my start a new one. And I'm going to paste that content right here. Oops. There we go. Okay. Now we have a very well written content ready to go. And now I've got 8 pages. Of course, it's running slow. Okay, so I would want to put some type of image kind of that I'm going to use as my featured image. I'll just start dropping images in here. Insert image. I'll just put search the web for right now. Content. And I'll put this image over. Insert. Okay. Now, if you're using Google Docs and you do an insert image, it's giving you a shareable image that you can use. If you're putting in your own images, make sure they're CC free or they're, from Canva or somewhere like that, that you're not getting a little nasty gram from Getty that you're using their image. So I try to use generic images in here or images that I have bought off deposit photos. So, make sure you have some link back to your image. Now, the other thing while you have your images here is you will probably want to put a caption. And text wrapping, let's see. Add comment. I haven't done this in Google in a while. Let's see. Image options. I know there's an image options for doing this, but anyway, you would want to put a subheading, an image caption in here, and then you're ready to take this into your Word or your master site or whatever. Okay. And again, I'm just adding images in here. Insert image. Image, search the web, and we'll do maybe something like this. Insert. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to actually read through this and start adjusting. But before I do that, I'm going to fix with Grammarly. Grammarly works well with Google Docs. So it's going to suggest remove the phrase to, and it's going to look for a shorter version. While it's doing that, I'm going to do passive voice. I'll skip that. Let's see. But this mistake is genuine. And I'm just going to quickly run through there. Now, I don't know if Garen's on the call, but he had a great suggestion about how he writes his contents. How he writes content is he will use a Google Docs reader. So he listens to this being translated or being read to him, and he makes his edits from there. Me, I will read through this sentence by sentence. Does it match up with the heading? I mean, this is just normal copywriting stuff that you would do. But you're at the point where you've got a good base, especially if you spend the time in Jarvis to rewrite paragraphs, to add content. And I kind of shortened what I normally do because I don't want you to be bored sitting there watching me write content with Jarvis. But Jarvis is really easy. I mean, you get down to the bottom here, you want to write something about video content marketing, I just hit compose. And it's going to either try to repeat the pattern, which is newsletter content marketing. That's a pretty good one to put in there. So let's see what it does here. Okay. Now it suggested one that I didn't even think about, newsletters. Okay. And blogs content, it's already covered down here. So I'm going to take that out. And let's see, those are H3. So I'm just going to pattern it just like that. H3, bold. Couple of tricks when you're in here. If you want it to focus on video content marketing, put 3 dots or 3 stars there. Put it right at the end of the paragraph and hit Control J or compose. Okay. So what it's going to do, it's going to focus on writing okay, now it's repeating itself. So let's get just that video content. This is how I kind of expand things out. How I made 10,000 in 2022. Okay. Now, Jarvis is completely read, or it's read up through 2019. It's kind of projecting some numbers in here. Anytime it puts a number in there, go in and make sure it's the right number, because a lot of times Jarvis puts in something from 10 years ago or 5 years ago, and it just, and I had one I was doing about crypto, and Bitcoin was just passing the $10,000 mark, and they didn't think it would ever go any higher than that. So make sure you're checking how the price of Bitcoin before you publish the article. Okay, so we got a little bit of content, but I focused the writing on here. It also goes back to your focus mode over here. It reads the title, it reads the content description, and where our cursor was right here, because I have that, it's only going to read that to build your next paragraph. Okay, so if you want it repeating the pattern to give you newsletter content or stuff like that, then take this off and let it go back. I'm using the boss mode, which it goes back 2,000 words or 2,000 characters. And then it will come in and it will start writing from there. And it will try to repeat the pattern like this. So we have a header, a short paragraph, header, short paragraph. Okay. So that's how you use Jarvis as best you can. Realize it's not perfect. It's not going to give you the best writing. This is the first draft usually. If you're pulling stuff from Surfer that Surfer wrote, yeah, you're going to have to rewrite some of the Surfer stuff. But as you're reading through this, I will try to rewrite my Surfer stuff, my Surfer paragraph content inside of Jarvis, or let Jarvis rewrite it completely for me. Okay, that's kind of the workflow I'm using. Surfer does, okay, it gives me filler content to start with to help Jarvis kind of learn what we're trying to do. And then Jarvis fills in the rest. Use these 3 dots. Those are my most favorite tool inside of Jarvis. Is I don't want it reading what the history of Ben Franklin and putting it in here on video marketing. It won't make any sense at all. This is probably your best tool that you can use, along with having a good title and description. Now you can change this description out, or if you said, don't read this for anything below this, or for any new content it generates. I leave it on, but you can change it for, you know, as you're changing your tone and your style, you can change that. Okay. So again, we're going to take it from here. We're going to go over here to Google Docs, and we've got some images and stuff that we're selling. So, or showing. I'm going to pop it up here. Okay. Now, here's what you can do. Is you can come back to your content marketing, and you can go to your content editor, bring up this content editor. Now remember, these are two separate documents. I'm going to take this out. I'm using the same structure and everything, but I'm going to come over here to my Google Docs. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go into Surfer and paste it. Okay. Now, you remember we put in some images, so it's giving me a little bit higher score. So this is a way you can check it before you're ready to go into your blog post. Is I want to get it, you know, I know my competitors are in the 80s, so maybe I need more images. It says right here, I need more paragraph breaks. I need more images. If I get 9 images in here, I'm going to be up to 80. Okay. So in my Snagit, in Canva, this is why I have this double arrow, is you can jump back and forth between these editors, do the outline here, do the writing in here as best you can, fix it with Grammarly, and you can add images in Jarvis and then copy everything and push it into Surfer to do your final check if you want to do that. So I will do that just to kind of see where I'm at. I may want to bump up the word count, and I'm making an assumption. I've gone through Google Docs. I've got the article exactly like I want before I go to blog posts or before I put it into external content on master sites or wherever I'm going to paste it. But I'm going to copy it and paste it in here. I'm not using the audit button. All I'm doing is I'm using the content editor inside of Surfer to give me the final reading so that I can kind of, if I need to tweak and add words, I can make my final adjustments here, trying to get the score to about 80. Okay. Does this make sense, guys? Give me a 1 if this is good value for you. Yep. Perfect. Somebody asked the question, how do you get your alt images? There's a way in Google Docs, and I just forgot how to do it. It's if somebody can give me an idea, image options, alt text. Okay. Okay. That, I think that's how you do it. But when I'm in, here's another suggestion. When I've taken the final version and I've gone over, it's in Google Docs, finally corrected, formatting, everything's correct on it. And I go into Surfer with it to check it. I can come in and write the alt tags in here. And it will put in the heading here. And again, you can do the same thing here, write your image alt tags in here. So this is a better editor than being inside of Jarvis. It's up to you how you want to do it. Our workflow is We're going to bring it into Google Docs, check it, make sure our copywriters have done everything. We're going to read the content. We're going to go through Grammarly, add pictures. I'd come down here, maybe go all the way down to the questions, maybe bullet point them or do something different. I'm going to come in and make it very visually appealing to read. So that's what I'm doing in Google Docs. I take it back to Surfer one final time just to test, if I need to add keywords or whatever, but I'm trying to get my score into the 80s. So that's my sequence. Now, I probably shouldn't tell you this. Wayne and I, building our PBN, we have our own HTML editor. And we want, when you're saving this, Google has saved this image right here under your Google Docs. It's tagged to you. So if you have a PBN network that has 100,000 pages and you don't want Google to know it's tagged to you, we don't want these images coming from Google being placed in our HTML editor, because it's a roadmap back to Google saying this entire PBN is made by 2 people or a single company. So our HTML editor is where we're going to make our image inserts. Okay, so the sequence for me is I'm not going to use Google Docs. I use Google Docs if I'm going to WordPress or master sites. I use this all the time to write my own content. But if I'm going into a private network, I'm going to bypass tagging everything to my Google Doc creation, and I'm going to use the HTML editor, and I will do image inserts, which puts it into a generic Amazon image holder. Okay, we're looking out for our PBN, which looks out for your PBN and your booster pages and everything else. We don't want to give a roadmap to Google. Okay. With that said, let's go over here to Surfer. So what I will do is take that image out. And take that image out. Now, you would think, okay, I could just put in an image. There's a little image box there. Well, Surfer doesn't do that. They give you a blank and let you write the tag. Let's call it plan. So I will use the image alt tags, and I'll pull up some of these and come here. So I need content marketing efforts. So I'm going to type in efforts. Okay, so I've got an image in there. Look at that, it bumped my score a little bit. So if you don't want to keyword stuff or add them in sentences, add them as your alt tags. So come here and add an image and highlight content marketing program, right. I'm going to put in here, write content strategy. Okay. Boom. I bumped it to 72. So Surfer likes images, and it can't read what an image is, but it can read your alt tags that you're putting in there. Okay. So this is how we're kind of doing our content to go into an HTML editor instead of going into Google Docs. We'll tune it up in here first and then take it to our HTML editor. Now, if you take this over to Google Docs right now, let's just see what happens. We'll do Control A, Control C, and File, New, Document. Paste in there. Okay. Now it's kind of changed the H tags, the font of the H tags coming across, and that's just what you're getting sometimes on HTML editors. Okay, So you notice right here, it looks like it's trying to load an image. This is what you're going to get coming out of that. So I'm going to basically replace this image. Unable, I know. So I'm going to replace image with search from web. That one in there. And I'll use a replace. And I want to resize it a little bit. There we go. And do something like that. So I'm trying to make this kind of visually appealing to read. And it's all looking good. Now I would come back in here and change my headers to maybe Arial. Yeah, we'll just make it Arial. So I'm going to do a little bit of formatting cleanup inside of Google Docs or inside of my HTML editor. But I know by doing placeholder images here inside of Surfer, getting my word count, getting my keywords right, getting my alt tags right. So when I take it into Google Docs, doing it this way, all I have to do is do image replace and do my formatting. Okay, so it's however you want to use. I've been using them interchangeably, but the reason we wouldn't use Google Docs because we're doing a PBN. If I'm, like I said, if I'm doing WordPress, Google Docs is just fine for you. Okay. Guys, that's about all I'm going to show you today to put into Masher sites. Oh, that's a good question. John had a great question. How do we go into Masher sites with it? Perfect. Okay. I'm going to take this content. Now, I did mention Word AI. Anybody want to see how I use Word AI with Masher sites and external content? And Scott asked a good question. I got a lot of yeses coming across. Okay. This is the tricky part. And I'm recording this so you can go back and review it. Scott asked about contrast Surfer with page rewriter, cost, feature, benefits. Surfer is more expensive than page rewriter, definitely. Page rewriter is, it's a good product. It's getting better. I know Mike Martin, and he is constantly improving. So is Surfer. We're writing content. We're bringing on a team of VAs to write content for us for our PBN network. So I want the best tools possible. Surfer, Jarvis. I've already bought Phrase through AppSumo, so I don't have to pay for it again. Phrase has a AI content writer built in, which they do GPT-3, I think I'm saying that, open AI sourcing, but they also have their own AI writer in their content rewriter. On Phrase, you get 1,000 characters, I think, 1,000 words per day free. But if you use that, you pay them $35 a month and you can use their AI writer. So Phrase has a built-in AI writer. Mike Martin's getting there. I don't know if he's integrated yet with anything. I don't use that one as much as I did. So to answer your question, I'm getting the best tools for my team, which I believe is Surfer and Jarvis. I've got a writer right now. I'm telling her the only thing she can use is Phrase and Jarvis. So I want her to tell me which one she likes better. I know which one is better. It's Surfer. It's better than Phrase. And the reason is what it gives you in the content planner, you can't find anywhere else. Is I know when I'm sitting over here on content planner, I've got a lot of work. So if I'm pricing out how much would you charge somebody, a fence repair company, if they want to be on page 1 in McKinney, Texas? How much are you going to charge them? Organically, I've got to create 64 plus pages to put in a blog and sequence and drip feed them and then build backlinks. That's just the organic part. That doesn't include writing the sales page and anything else. But this is something you can show a client. You can get this in other more expensive tools, but I love this. It helps me write. I need something about chain link fences. I need something about concrete building cost estimates. I don't know why, picket fence cost. So between the content planner and the content editor, I think this is the better tool. Hope I answered questions. Okay. Here is, let's bring up Word AI. Now, guys, we're in building a PBN. We want to make sure we're not tagging it so Google can track us, but we also want varied content. We want spun content. We want good spun content, not spin rewriter, ESL content. So here's what happens when I put in Jarvis. So I'm not going to copy everything from Jarvis. I'm just going to do this, copy down to right here. Okay. Now, I don't have any images, so I don't have to protect those. Come over here, paste that in there. And I'm wanting to do a few, normally I'll do a couple of rewrites. Let's just do 2 and hit rewrite. Okay. So an ultimate guide that almost looks identical. So it hasn't changed the title. It just dropped that basically. So let's look at the spin text. It says the ultimate and ultimate, a complete guide. So it has some spin variations in this number 1 that we can put in there. I'll take it out of that. I'll just go back to, so this is one variation, and I'm just going to do that. History of content marketing, history of content marketing. Let's see what it spun it up to. It hasn't spun anything in there, but it spun these paragraphs. So I've got a lot of variations, like there's 2 options here. Let's just make sure it's readable. So it's going to compare side by side. What is the story behind content marketing according to your view? What is the history? I come over here. What is the history of content marketing in your opinion? When I was asked this question, I was astonished at, as I assumed this was a question that was around for at most 60 to 70 years. Okay, slight change. However, my error isn't true. Okay, but my mistake isn't true. Actually, I think this one's better. In 1732, just published his annual Poor Richard's Almanac. Okay, so it's done slight variations. He made this happen by distributing content from the atlas and also advertising his printing business. So you can see it is rewriting every single sentence, but it's not changing the scope of the sentence or the intent of the sentence. Okay, so great way to rewrite content. Copy to clipboard. If you do this, it's going to copy the clipboard, and let's pull up a notepad. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. This is the HTML format, so it's pretty clean. It's H2, strong, of course. Okay. Now, I want to pull up the spin version of it. So I'm going to do this, spin version, and copy to clipboard. Come over here and paste it in there. Now, this is HTML format with spin version inside of it. Okay. This is what you're going to post into the external content, if you want to, inside of RSS Master to go to your master sites. So let's go take a look at how we're doing this. Now, I'm going to come back to Word AI and show you why it's hard to use with images and everything else that you're doing, because it will crush your formatting. So I'm going to RSS Master. And external content. Use own articles. Okay, content marketing, that's a niche name. I'm going to go in and edit, and I'm going to add an article set in here. Okay, come over here, just copy that, give it a title. Okay, content spin tags enabled. So I'm going to go in here, put it in HTML format, and I'm going to make sure it's spin tags, copy, paste. Okay. Now we're in HTML format, so it's good to go. Go back to design, and you can see it in there. So that gets a spin content in there, and I'm going to generate a tag. That's okay, but let's take out the strong. We don't need HTML formatting on that. Take out the strong at the end. Okay. And in fact, let's just do this. You would want to probably go in and fix these 39s. So let's take a look at, we're going to do a preview. Okay, so I know my title's messed up a little bit. History of content marketing. Now content marketing takes many forms. Okay. So this is the only problem that you're going to see sometimes is Word AI has messed up the formatting. And I'm just going to kind of go in and look to fix it here. Take out the quotes. Okay. Generate title. Again, I'm going to take out the strong. Down to the bottom, take those out. And hit preview. So you can have to work with the title a little bit more. But it does a spin version for you every time you hit preview. And let's just take all that from an auto blogger's perspective. And take out all the spin on this. Okay, that's gone. Now I'm going to generate title. I'm just going to leave that in there. Okay, this will work. So the spacing kind of looks weird, but whenever you put it into Google Sheet, the spacing kind of works itself out. So I'm going to hit update and hit back. And now we're ready to go over and create. Let's go content, use on articles, marketing, edit. I think I need to just go ahead and take that out. There we go. Update. Back. Okay. So now I'm going to come over here and add to G Sheet. Oscar Cameron, Google account, and Google Sheets. And I'm looking for drive gadgets. There's just one to toss in there. Okay. Content niche. This is where we were pulling from. So content marketing AF. And I'm going to use this right here. Add article, unspun, but I'm going to create multiple articles from it. So how many do you want to create? Let's create 7. Now what it's doing is it's creating 7 different unique articles. It's putting it into a G Sheet, and the G Sheet is now sitting there waiting for RSS Matcher to go through and do it all. Okay, easy. So RSS Matcher is going to do 7 different versions of this sequenced out, however you have that set up. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is just go straight into your Masher site, members.masher sites. And I'll log in to Masher sites here. Masher sites. And let's put it in best business blogs. So I'm going to do one-click login. Well, for some reason that can't be loaded. And so we'll just do lessons beyond the story. Let's see what's going on there. So I'm going to log directly into the Masher site itself, and then I'm just going to go to post and post the article directly in as a new blog post. For some reasons, okay, there we go. So post. Come down here, hit add. Okay. And it's going to be a post. You can make it a post or page. And here's the title. So we need to come over here to, I'm just going to copy this title here. Copy that one. Paste it in there. No video code, publish date. You can set it whatever date you want. View counts, slug. It's going to create a slug. Now you're in HTML or design or HTML. I'm just going to take my original article. So let's just go back to Jarvis and grab that original article that we have. Actually, let's do this. Let's take it straight from here. I've got my Google Doc ready to go. I'm going to copy it, come over here and paste. Okay. And now you can put whatever image you want up there. I'm just going to do browse and do a featured image. And I'm just kind of showing you this very quickly. I'd spend a little bit more time getting the right content marketing. Show everybody surprised. There we go. Okay. Now, I'm in the wrong site, so I would, typically choose whatever lessons learned or something. I would choose the right category and put it in the right site. Author's name, Linda Watson, tags, content, marketing, read time. Well, it's probably going to be about 9 minutes. Okay. And I don't think I chose the right category. Oh, primary category. There we go. You put it in multiple categories if you want. Okay. Now it is ready to take a look at. And it's probably the last one there. So let's come over here. Go ahead and log out. And hit this. Okay. And there's our article. See how the spacing kind of worked itself out? This is how easy it is to put it in here. Now, if you have some extra spacing or anything, you can use the editor inside of master sites just to fix it. So I would go back over here, click login, and post, choose it, hit edit. Okay, and now we're actually putting in a brand new editor, which has a lot more features. And this is the old traditional HTML editor, but see these extra spaces? Notice we didn't need to use them. So you just come in and kind of clean it up. So you kind of see how it's done. I don't want to do the full cleanup. Everybody's online here. So save it, update it. And I always like to log out so it clears the cache and updates images. And then you can come back in here and take a look at it. Okay, that looks a lot better. And this is the part that I didn't edit. Okay. So that's how you get your Jarvis into, by just getting it into Google Docs, you can put it anywhere you want. Okay. Hope that helps. We're doing something new, and y'all are first to hear it. It's probably in a couple months. We're getting it worked in our PBN first, but we're going to set up RSS Masher so you can drop a article into the external content, and we may change this rate, use an own article, where you can drop it in here, and we will protect your images, your formatting, and everything, and we will spin it in Word AI from within our editor. We have that ability right now inside of some other PBN, the PBN builder, but what it does for us is you can get a unique variation just clicking the button. You don't have to worry about images. Let me show you what I mean by images. If I take this, and I'll just take the first page. Okay. Before I do that, I'm going to take out the brackets. I'll show you what happens on Word AI. Take the first page, take images, take some formatting over. We'll just come down here, copy it, Control C, go to rewrite article, paste it in there. The images are showing up, and I hit rewrite. Okay. I lost my images. They're no longer in there. So you did your alt tags, you got your images right, you got your captions right, and you're all ready to go, and you stick it in here and you go, I lost everything. So the way to do it is you do protect. You protect certain things on it. And we're building that to go into RSS Masher. We'll also build it to go into Word AI, into Masher sites. So if you have a Word AI account, you just put the integration in, and in our new editor, when you drop that in, it will protect all that stuff. You hit Word AI, it will spin it, put the images back in, the formatting back in, and have you a perfectly brand new copy ready to go. So I hope that's probably, Wayne's not on the call, but I would say it's likely March or April before you see that. We want it working on our PBN builder first and get all the bugs worked out, and then we're just going to add that. Not going to cost you anything. It's just you need Word AI to go with it. Okay. Let's answer some questions. I'm running an hour and a half, a little over our time limit here. So I hope everybody kind of understood. Here's the links that we're using. And, you know, I ask if you're going to buy these, you know, use our links. It pays for this Geek Out Friday call, but it's /surfer/jarvis/grammarly. If you've got phrase, you've got page rewriter, keep on using them. Okay. There's the differences are, what I would say is the biggest difference I know is Surfer is pulling content it believes is the highest authority and giving us a score so we can kind of compare to the highest authority sites. Page rewriter, phrase, they pull the top 20. Okay. So you may be pulling junk that, it may be pulling stuff that it got into the top 20 because it was doing some other stuff, you know, sending a whole bunch of backlinks to it or sending a whole bunch of customer. It may not be the right content is all I'm saying. Okay. Yeah, this, I hope this helps. I hope I didn't confuse everybody. Is you've got to have a workflow, and this is what I have found in the workflow process. Taking Word AI out of the picture is just make these things work. You write you 4 or 5 articles using using Content Planner, Content Editor, going through this all the way to Google Docs. You'll see what I'm talking about. You'll understand it. It's, you know, just use it. But you can go back and forth between Jarvis, just cut, copy, paste. You saw how I did it inside of, I made the article, put it in Google Docs, took Google Docs, put it back into Surfer to tweak it, to get my scores up. And that's what I'm always looking, this scorecard. I know what my competition is. We looked at it at the very beginning, 69, 70, I've got 83, 86, 61. So I need to be kind of high 70s, 80s to start, you know, to even be considered for ranking on this. Okay. And let's go back to this. Let's see. Yeah, you can use different tools. That's absolutely true. Is using RSS or original content feature directly. Guys, you don't need to worry about Google tracking on anything unless you're building a large PBN network that you don't want a footprint from Google. We're trying to avoid everything we can to have a footprint because it support this large PBN is going to support a whole bunch of different things that we're coming up with. If you're going to RSS Masher and you drop an article with a Google image in it, it's no problem. I do it all the time. Okay. Hope that answers that question. Okay, let's go to Q&A. Yeah, Walt asked a really good question. He said, you said you're using Google Docs to add images, reformat your article. If you're using a page builder like Thrive Themes, want to use your page templates in WordPress, would you skip the Google Docs? Absolutely. Yes. Yes. I would skip it. Thrive Themes is great. I use Elementor. I use Optimize Press. You know, you're just taking content and reformatting it to work in whatever site you have. use those page builders. They're really good. How do you add alt tags? I think we showed that. Okay. Walt asked a good question. Can we take a WordPress post or page in draft mode back into server to get a score before we perform an audit in a couple of weeks? Yes, yes. I showed you how to use Google Docs. You'd use the same way. What I would do is go ahead and publish it. Take the published version and then put it into Surfer inside the content editor and get a score on it. Okay. You're not doing an audit is different. Audit's going to read your score, but it's going to do a lot of other things, comparing your competitors, your page ranking, what it's going to take, your backlinks. It's more than just a score. It's going to help you with a whole bunch of different things on the audit. Walt asked, how about Microsoft Word instead of Google Docs? Absolutely. Yeah, for the problem with both Word and Google, when you're putting them in there, they like to put all their fancy HTML stuff in there. It makes it look nice on Word and on Google Docs, but sometimes if you're copying all the junk directly into your blog post, you're going to get junk in is junk out. So the format, it will throw off our CSS styling on our PBN. If we're Word tends to put more formatting than Google does, but we'll, you know, it's just testing. You got to test it every way. Walt asked a really good question. Do you use Article Forge inside of Word AI for content? Yes. Does Article Forge, how does it compare to writing with Jarvis? It does. It's Article Forge will do a 500 to maybe 1,000 word article. It's okay. It is going to go into our PBN. It's going to be spun, add images, go into our PBN. To do what we're trying to scale to is 50 million pages by year end. We're going to need all the help we can get. That's why we're going to use Article Forge. We're going to have short articles or medium length articles, long articles, and we're going to have, you know, the guide with 5,000 words in it. So as we're spinning all these different variations up, we have a diversity of content in each of our domains and our subdomains. And that's what we're going to even mix it with listicles and with how-to guides. So a node with a Article Forge could be pointing up to a listicle, and the listicle could be pointing to a really long article. So we have a diversity of content. That's what Google likes. We're giving Google exactly what they like. Do you recommend a tool for rating the reading level of your content, or is that part of Grammarly Pro? Grammarly Pro, I think, does a really good job. Let's do this. So I'll take this and go Control End. Just make it a shorter article. Okay. And you can take it in. I know Word doc, Microsoft Word will give you the reading level. I think Google Docs does the same. I just don't know off the top of my head how to do it. I'm going to go over here to Grammarly, and you can actually take it inside of Grammarly. And I'll hit new, grab this, and paste inside Grammarly. Set your goals, hit done. 697 words. So it's giving you how many characters, the reading time, and the readability score. that's how I know how to do it. And if you'll notice what happened, it lost the images again. So you got to be careful where you're transferring and moving it from, because you could do all this work on your alt tags, which I do, and you know, you spend 30 minutes putting alt tags on images and getting the right image perfect and sizing it and all that, and then you put it in one of these tools and it goes away. I mean, you're just like, oops. Okay, hope that answered all the questions. I'm just going to tag these. Do y'all have any more questions? I know we're right at getting close to the top of the hour here. I hope I answered all the questions for you. I know the call's kind of long. Watch the replay. Develop your own workflow. Our challenge was, our constant challenge is Surfer, Jarvis, we get the content right, get the keywords right, get a good score, and now we go in and put images, alt tags, all that. When do we spin this? When do we make the spin variation? Well, in our PBN, we've got an HTML editor that when we're going to finalize it in the HTML editor in the PBN, then we hit that. And we'll have images that are stored offsite on Amazon through a private server. And we will hit the Word AI button and it will do a spin. It will put all the spin tags to all the versions that we need. And now it's ready to go into our PBN and create 1,000 pages with this one page. So sometimes I get lost because I'm thinking we need one page. Well, no, we need a lot more. We need that one page to be 1,000 pages. So that's what we're using Word AI for, is the unique variations that it writes well. This technology we're implementing is going to go into RSS Master, and you're going to love it. So we're getting to the point where I'd say summer or fall, where we can take your RSS feed, protect it automatically, run it through Word AI. You don't have to do any of the protection tags or anything like that. That's our long-term goal with RSS Master, is take an RSS feed, make it original content, and swap images at the same time. So that's the benefit that you're going to get from us doing all the hard work inside of our own PBN system. Okay. I think that's about it. Any final questions or thoughts before I go here? Jan asked a really good question. What is the actual price for your PBN software? Not for sale. It is a private blogger network. We may next year do a offering on it. If you have the ability to have a VA, 2 or 3 VAs, write content every day and create your own massive, huge network of PBN sites, which I'll show you what a PBN site, one of our PBN sites look like. I'll bring it up. You may have seen on booster pages what we're doing with it. Bring up a campaign page. Here we go. Okay. This is one page from our PBN network. It looks like a master site. It is. We built it based off the master site protocol. So this is the article post. We have, it's automatically creates a table of content, the header, the H1s, H2s, all this. This content was written inside of Jarvis. It goes through our HTML editor, and we have spun versions of this. So this one article, I think, is been repeated 500 times, but you wouldn't be able to tell it's the same article. It rearranges the sequencing of these. It places images. It does a whole bunch of stuff for us. But at the bottom of our pages are our booster pages and our padded links. So if you were on the call earlier, this is a booster page with your featured image link right here with some really interesting images in here. So check out booster pages. It's vidpenguin.link/booster if you haven't got it, but these are the backlinks that we are building for you. But the massive network of pages is right here. So we will have content. In fact, we've only got 100,000 pages built right now. By the end of January, we'll have our first million. That's our goal. And each month after, it's going to be 4 million pages that we're creating that month. So I am going to be using Article Forge, Jarvis. I've got one writer right now. I'll probably have 2 VAs coming on board, but we're spending a lot of content. So we've got to get all the bugs worked out. And then some of this will pass through to RSS Masher. The listicle maker, just if you want to see what a listicle looks like. This is a listicle. And I have been testing formats and styles. We want to be able to set this up so that we can run paid ads to this. Reason for paid ads is we make money every time somebody buys through this. We'll make money with display ads. This little display ad right here, it's Pages HQ, which is one of our sites. Cup Station. I make $49 when I sell this Cup Station value pack. Tiki Tunes, I think I make $35 when this is sold. This is not Amazon, I mean Google Ads. We do make some money off these. I mean, you're not going to get rich on one page, one domain. You've got to have a lot of them out there. But you also have to have content that people want to read. You know, what are the best gadgets for Christmas? I mean, this is, we can insert images, whatever, but this listicle in summer of this year, we are going to give you the ability to purchase the listicle maker to tag into our PBN network. We also have an article writer, a content engine that will tag into our network. So we're not having to create this 4 million pages ourselves. You're creating some of the pages, but you're also, what you're getting out of it is this link will go to your products, your Amazon products, your Target or Best Buy products, or your own Giddy Up links. So we're going to basically lease the interior part, the content part, and then we'll have all our sidebar stuff. We'll have our display ad networks running, and we'll have our booster pages down at the very bottom. So we have a lot of inventory, a lot of space, and we will probably sell the listicle builder so you can build and then place it into our PBN. But the PBN is not for sale. It's, you know, if somebody makes us a silly, incredible offer to buy us out, then that might be the only time they buy it for sale. Hope that answers that question. Okay. And let's see, booster offer is still valid. Yes, booster offer is still valid. And it is at vidpenguin.link/booster. Now, guys, this is a one-time sell on this. It's a lifetime deal on booster pages. It's super simple to use. You just put in URLs, but it also works inside of RSS Masher, and it's going to be working inside of vidpenguin too. Let's see. And so anyway, I gave everybody the link to it. But booster pages, we're going to be sending a lot of link juice to it. In fact, it's our primary way of sending traffic to our own RSS basher, our auto blogs, is through booster pages and other indexing and Yive Ranker and all that. And we are going to be incorporating Yive Ranker into RSS Masher, probably March or April. You'll see it. So, guys, I'm all out of. I've been on webinars and Zoom calls for at least 5 hours today, so I'm kind of done. Hopefully everybody got some really good information about creating your own workflow. And these are the tools, Surfer, Jarvis, and Grammarly, that we showed today. And hopefully everybody will get their own writer's workflow on how all this stuff works together. Feel free to watch the replay. It will be up probably, I'd say, by the end of the day. And create your own workflow. If you find it easier, your workflow, than mine, message me, because I need, I want the smoothest workflow to pass down to our VAs to writing content. Okay, so thank you, and I will see everybody on one of our other calls. Bye-bye for now.